Hi, I'm Fraser, and this week I'm testing a bike I've been hanging out to have a ride on for quite a few months now. In fact, this bike went on sale back in March, and I've only just now got it to test at the start of August. It is, as you can see, Ducati's new Diavel. Now, there's no mistaking this bike for anything else on the market. It was in fact designed by a Dutchman called Bart, and you have to wonder what was he smoking. But for me, the detail on this bike is second to none. There's some really neat styling touches that I really like. This big front end here, it's got a really masculine, almost Judge Dredd feel about it. LED strip light across the headlight here, LED indicators down each side. It's the same at the back. These beautiful wheels, black forks, belly pan, carbon detail, it just sings "look at me." Now these styling details, they're throughout the whole bike, and they all add up to a stunning machine. The mirrors, for instance, the shape of them matches the master cylinder caps. The foot pegs are spear shaped, that's echoed in the fuel cap. These two big trumpet exhausts here on one side of the bike. Big old 240 section tyre, which is on a gorgeous black and silver wheel. And of course the single-sided swing arm so you can see it all. It really is an imposing looking bike, and there's nothing else out there that just comes anywhere near it. Now those neat touches aren't just confined to the styling department. There's a few cool little practicalities, shall we say. There is no key holder in the front here because all you need is this here in your pocket. It has a proximity thing, come up, push the on off button above the little LCD screen here, and you're good to go. You're also thinking, well, where does the pillion go? Well, of course, it's got these neat little pop down foot pegs, and this actually has a cover on the back seat here. And check this out, put this under here, turn the key, the seat comes off, and then we pull this little thing up and out pops the little grab rail for the passenger. Now at the heart of the Diavel is Ducati's well established 1098cc 90 degree liquid cooled V-twin. Originally found in the 1198 and the 1098R superbikes, it's since been found in the new Multistrada which came out last year. And like the Multistrada in 1198, you have a few options to play with. It has adjustable mapping and traction control. Now, these are changed by a button on the handlebars. And there's three options. You've got Sport, Touring and Urban. Now you can customise each option to your own liking. In this particular instance, Urban is set up for 100 horsepower, but the traction control is set at number 5. Now, Touring mode, well, that changes the horsepower to the full 162 with a lower throttle response, and traction control, which comes down to number 3. Sport mode, well, you get the full 162 horsepower, instant throttle response, traction control is its minimum, number 1. And I can tell you, the performance on this bike is just outstanding. It's almost as quick off the mark as the superbike itself. It really is a thrilling engine. The sound of it is fantastic. It's got that bar on the overrun, it pops and it farts, and it really is the classic Ducati V-twin. However, if you're a fan of the dry clutch, well, you might not like it as much because this one has a 6-speed box with a wet multi-plate clutch. It doesn't have that digga 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 of your traditional air-cooled Ducatis. But I'm not complaining. Performance-wise, it's putting out 162 horsepower and 127.5 newton meters of torque. Now that's not maybe as much as say a VMAX, which is the only thing that's comparable to the Diavel, but more importantly, it's quite a bit lighter than the VMAX. We weighed this at 236 kilograms, the VMAX is 312. So the power to weight figure is actually better than the VMAX, and it's almost as good as a superbike. It's something like 0.69 horsepower per kilogram. Now, keeping this thing on the road is a trellis frame in the Ducati tradition, of course. Up front we've got a pair of fully adjustable Marzocchi forks. They're 50mm, so they're quite beefy. Hidden away underneath here is a Sachs monoshock. Again, it's fully adjustable. The preload adjuster is a little dial on the side here, so it takes seconds to dial it in and out. If anything, I found it perhaps a little bit firm, but when you have this amount of power on hand, you want something that handles and it's not going to fire you out the seat in typical New Zealand bumpy roads. Bringing it all to a halt is a pair of 320mm discs on the front. They've got radial Brembo calipers, 4-pot, with ABS, and a 265mm disc on the back with 2-piston calipers. They're quite vicious, they're really good, and they're just what you need on a bike that's, let's face it, capable of 250 km an hour easy. Combined, the suspension package and chassis, well, they deliver a surprisingly good ride. This thing will turn in pretty much wherever you point it, and these big wide bars at the front give you plenty of leverage to help along. It's got special Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2 tyres, front and rear, and the grip level on them is really confidence inspiring, especially for a bike that weighs this much, and again is a sit-up cruiser style bike. It almost defies convention, to be fair. Now, is there anything I don't like about this bike? To be honest, not much, if anything really. I love the seating position, I love the sound of it, I love the power from the engine, the power of the brakes, the handling, even the mirrors actually work. A couple of tiny niggles. One is that the start button is a bit tight to get your finger in underneath the instrument binnacle, especially when you've got gloves on. And the only other thing that I can find fault with is the fact that there's no fuel gauge. It does average around about 6.7 litres per 100 the way we've been riding it, and that could be better, but to be fair, it's been an awful lot of fun getting there. Now, you wouldn't think you'd need to customise the Diavel, but of course there are a range of accessories available. More carbon fibre, of course you can get a hugger, carbon fibre cans which are half the size, which means you can see this back wheel in its entirety, absolutely lovely. Engine covers, heat shields, there's a sat navigation, touring screen, and of course a luggage system that is very minimal and well in keeping with the rest of the bike. Now, you're probably wondering, how much does this thing cost that I love so much? Well, this particular model is the Carbon, which is the second top of the range. It is $36,790. The base model, which doesn't have the acres of carbon fibre all over it, well, that's $29,690. There is one above it, which is the pick of the bunch as far as I'm concerned in terms of looks. It's $37,290. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, but comparable bikes are the VMAX, well, it's about $35.5. So you're kind of getting good value for money, I think. And the amount of people who stare at this bike and ask, what is it? Can I have a go? Is just incredible. I've never actually tested a bike that's shown this much interest from such a wide range of people. The Diavel, it really is in a class of its own.